5 News tonight, dash cam video shows Arkansas State Police detaining a woman at gunpoint for a crime that she did not commit. Those actions have led to a federal lawsuit. 5 News reporter Laura Castleman joining us now in the studio to talk about this and visiting with a law enforcement expert today, not connected to the case. And Laura, he says these officers were in the wrong.
That's right, Darren. Peyton Malia accuses them of violating her Fourth Amendment rights, claiming she and her son, who was in her car as all of this unfolded, feared for their lives.
Down ground now.
5 News obtained 2 different dashcam videos showing the moment state police surrounded Peyton Malia's car in a Casey's parking lot back in July of 2024. The officers drew their guns, cuffed her, and told her to get on the ground.
What's that apple airtag?
Seconds later, one of the troopers says they surrounded the wrong car.
This isn't it?
You can hear Malia's 4-year-old son crying in the background. Once officers realize she's not who they're looking for, they take off the cuffs and then tell her that they were looking for a double homicide suspect in a car like hers. She's let out of the cuffs and then asked for her driver's license. We talked with the law enforcement training expert, Dr. Randy Nelson, who says the officer didn't have that right.
You have a right not to be searched or detained or anything if you haven't done anything.
After seeing the video, Nelson says what was a huge misunderstanding went farther than that, especially after the troopers learned that they had the wrong car.
Some of the actions after, the actions of now you have something to tell, or running a check on her, see for warrant or any criminal activity after they knew she was not the individual they were looking for.
You have a little story to tell.
Malia has filed a federal lawsuit accusing 4 troopers of unreasonable and excessive deadly force in a busy Casey's parking lot.
It wasn't the right person, nor did it turn out to be the right car. After all that was found out, that's where you have to get into running the check on and see if she had a warrant or suggestion that now you have something to tell.
According to the court documents, officers were looking for a 2013 white Lincoln MKZ. Malia drove a white 2009 Lincoln MKS. Visibly shaken up, the video shows Malia complying with all of their commands.
All right, y'all are free to go. Okay. We apologize for the inconvenience.
That woman and her child were traumatized by this incident, and we have to do everything in our power to ensure that unintended consequences of making a mistake does not go beyond the pale.
We reached out to Arkansas State Police, who said the officers involved in the incident are still employed by the agency. We reached out to Malia and her attorney, who declined to comment. We have the full dashcam video on 5newsonline.com. Laura Castleman, 5 News.
All right, Laura, thanks. Let's talk about the forecast now. Noah Simmons with us to tell us we've got another couple of days of really nice weather.
That's right, Darren. We do have a couple more days of that really nice, comfortable weather. If we look at our temperatures right now, we've slowly cooled off since that sun has set about 4 or 5 hours ago. We're seeing those 50s across northwest Arkansas from 52 in Fayetteville to 54 in Bentonville. We're sitting at 55 degrees in Booneville, 60 in Van Buren, 54 degrees in Sallisaw right now. And there are other communities we're seeing those temperatures, generally speaking, into those 50s, even those lower 60s from 61 in Charleston, 61 in Alma. We're at 59 degrees in Springdale. So the temperature's cooling off. They're not going to get too much lower tonight from what those values were, but we're going to see those pleasant temperatures here over the next few days to end the week. But we get a little bit of surge of Arctic air, at least for November standards, coming this weekend. That's going to transition our temperatures from warm and pleasant to chilly temperatures rather soon here. So if we look at Thursday for a glance, we don't have to talk about cool temperatures. It's just going to be those warm temperatures well into those middle 70s. In the River Valley, you're going to be seeing upper 70s, basically copy and paste with the exception of breezy winds there from the south, about 10 to 20 miles an hour. We get to talk about the rest of this week as well as that weekend forecast and how cold we can get coming up.
All right, Noah, thanks. Fayetteville parents concerned about a cell tower placed at McNair Middle and Vandergriff Elementary Schools gather to share their concerns to the district tonight. It was a packed meeting at the McNair Middle School cafeteria where parents talked about their fears of their children being exposed to radiation because of that cell tower. A third-party study was conducted in the area determining the tower's height exceeds FCC regulations. Still, parents would like to see the tower go.
If there's even a potential harm or threat, I think that the school board should do everything they can to not put these children in effect of harmful radiation.
Parents also started a petition to remove existing school-based cell towers. As of now, no action is being taken regarding this particular cell tower. Meanwhile, in an effort to combine Fort Smith and Sebastian County's dispatch centers, the River Valley Communications Center is considering a multi-million-dollar radio tower. It's a joint project between the city and the county, created after a 2019 state law required counties to merge 911 operations. First major step, a $5.5 million agreement with Motorola for a 190-foot radio tower and 10 radio systems. Fort Smith Board of Directors, though, voted to table the decision last night, saying they need more financial clarity before moving forward. Emergency Director Wes Milam says the radio system is necessary for emergency services.
When somebody calls 911 and needs an emergency medical help, I'm having a heart attack, the 911 comes to either the Fort Smith Police Department or Sebastian County, but we then have to transfer that person to EMS. That is seconds. And I want to make sure those seconds are smaller.
Fort Smith Board of Directors called a special meeting set for Monday night to talk about the radio tower. Milam says the goal is to get this 911 center operating by January 1st, 2027. Tomorrow, the Arkansas Department of Transportation breaking ground on an expansion project for Highway 112. First phase of the project will widen almost 1.5 miles of the highway between Truckers Drive and Howard Nickel Road, making it 4 lanes instead of 2. 3 roundabouts, 2 turnarounds, and a pedestrian tunnel are also planned for this project. Groundbreaking set for tomorrow morning at 11 at RDOT's maintenance office in Fayetteville. You are invited to attend. It's not the only project scheduled for the Highway 112 corridor. Extensions are also scheduled in between Howard Nickel Road and Great House Springs Road. The project will ultimately make Highway 112 a 4-lane road with a center median stretching 18 miles from Bentonville to Fayetteville. At the Arkansas Capitol, the Arkansas Governor's Office has submitted an application to help get federal funding for rural health care in the state. Rural Health Transformation Program will distribute $50 billion to states for strengthening rural health care over the next 5 years. The state says it will focus on 4 initiatives ranging from preventative care improvements to AI incorporation. U.S. Department of Health and Human Services will award the states this funding no later than December 31st. It's back to the drawing board for a group of young people trying to put a fundamental right to a clean environment in the state constitution in Arkansas. A group of students at the University of Arkansas drafted the Clean and Healthy Natural Environment Amendment. It's modeled on a similar proposal in Montana that survived court challenges from fossil fuel industry. Creates a right to clean environment, but its effect on large industries is one reason the Attorney General's office rejected this latest draft. Tim Griffin judged the proposal as misleading and didn't account for how the amendment would alter other laws. It's the second denial of that proposed amendment. Organizers will have to rework the language before submitting once again if they hope to begin gathering signatures to try to get this on the ballot. Child care providers are feeling a little more at ease after learning about new reimbursement rates from what they're told in September. Just a couple of months ago, many feared about having to shut their doors, but as Carter Thweet reports, they're now feeling hopeful.
We've won the battle, but not the war. There's still work that needs to continue to be done.
That's Jody Abernathy's reaction to a letter sent to child care providers from the Arkansas Office of Early Childhood on Monday. It announced new reimbursement rates for providers, better than what was proposed on September 19th, and very close to what a task force of providers like Abernathy recommended last week.
But I feel like this is a plan that if we all work together, we can continue business in the state of Arkansas for children and families.
Wednesday morning, I caught up with Arkansas Secretary of Education Jacob Oliva and asked him about the changes. He told lawmakers in late September the new rates were because of a loss of federal funding. But after uproar from providers, the department changed course.
We rolled up our sleeves, worked with our Early Learning Commission, brought everybody together and said, okay, here's the reality of this program. Let's make the best of this situation and look at some better recommendations.
Providers on the task force said that their rates could be accomplished using a little over $20 million the state already had on hand. Ultimately, Secretary Oliva agreed, though he says this week's changes are just a starting point.
We have a foundation now, and we're going to continue to invest and grow this program. We want to keep this task force engaged and keep meeting and make sure that we get it right.
Abernathy feels the same way. These new rates are better, but not perfect, and Oliva says they'll be able to fund the program more effectively with help from D.C.
We're going to work with our congressional delegation and our friends at the federal level if they ever reopen.
We can get back to business, and maybe not business as usual, but a new normal that will help us better sustain our programs.